what's up everyone, GameDad here, and we are back with part 2 of my current Philips CDI collection. So, let's dive in and see what games are left on the list. Lost Eden was released by Virgin Interactive in 1995, and I gotta say, this game is actually pretty nice looking. It's got some decent 3D animation for the time period. The still animation doesn't look that bad. Gameplay was okay, and I gotta say, I was pretty impressed. For this being a CDI game, it really felt like a early 90s PC title. Up next, we have Merlin's Apprentice, released by FunHouse in 1995, and honestly, this gives me like, mid-90s, early 90s, like Disney cartoon vibes, and it really doesn't play that well. It's very point-and-click adventure, which already isn't my kind of game, and it just, I don't know, it didn't look that great. I feel it could have looked better based on some of the other titles on this console. Up next, we have Mother Goose Hidden Pictures, released by American Interactive Media in 1991, and this one is definitely a game that is geared towards children, and what you're doing is kind of, find the hidden objects in the images kind of sort of thing. I mean, it's very point and clicky, but it's pretty fun for little kids, and as an adult, I mean, it was cool to go back and just kind of see, something old like this, but I wouldn't go back to it again. Here we have Mutant Rampage Body Slam, released by Animation Magic in 1994, and this one reminded me of, like, the Black Sheep second cousin to Mutant Football League, those kind of games. It's over-the-top, ridiculous mutant mayhem, and it's actually kind of fun. I mean, I don't really care for CDI games all that much, but this one, I actually had kind of a lot of fun with it. And here we have Muzzy, Learn French the Fun Way, released by Vecktor in 1994, and as soon as I got this game in the collection, it immediately gave me nostalgic vibes based on when I was a kid, and I would always see the commercials for Muzzy come up, and all the different characters, and how to learn French, and all this stuff. I don't personally know anyone that ever actually used this, but it's pretty cool to have this in the collection. And here we have Mystic Midway Phantom Express, released by Philips POV in 1993. And this is kind of like an on-rails roller coaster kind of game. It's very much carnival themed and oriented. And I mean, they actually made, I think it was 2 or 3 of these Mystic Midway games. So they must have been, at least somewhat popular. But overall, I mean, it's okay. Up next is NFL Football Trivia Challenge, released by Capital Disc Interactive in 1993, and it is exactly what the title says. There was no playing games with the title on this. It's literally NFL football trivia. That's all it is. And based on when this console came out, I mean, no kid today is going to probably know anything about this. Maybe, dads and grandparents will, but that's about it. And here we have NFL Hall of Fame Football, released by Philips Interactive Media in 1994. And this is essentially a digital archive of all of the NFL Hall of Fame stuff leading up to this point. So it's pretty cool. You get this whole like kind of 3D imagery and gives you some fun menus to play around in and things like that. And then basically it's just a bunch of information loaded on a disc for you to interact with. Up next is Pac Panic, released by Namco in 1995, and this one is actually pretty fun. It's not Pac-Man by any means, but it does use the Pac-Man license, and with that, they essentially created a Tetris game, or like a Dr. Mario kind of game, and you go through, you're stacking the blocks, you're crushing ghosts, things like that, and I gotta say, it was actually pretty fun. Up next is Pinball, released by Capital Disc Interactive in 1991, and it's exactly what you expect. I mean, it's Pinball, just on the CDI. I will say, one thing I really didn't like about this, I've seen 2-screen gameplay before in pinball games, like, for example, Alien Crush, but I don't like the way that they did it in this one. It's a scrolling screen that you're moving through, instead of like, oh, you went into the upper area, let's switch to that. It moves weird. Up next, we have Secret Mission, released by Microids in 1996, and this one it's interesting. It feels like it's just supposed to be like, NES era kind of military combat games, but then they added some 3D stuff to it. The story is super weak. Gameplay is, as you can see, the animation is not very good. And yeah, I mean, it's okay. Up next is Space Ace, released by Super Club in 1993, and if you've ever played any of these style games, it's basically an interactive cartoon with button prompts and things that you have to do, but they don't tell you what the prompt is. You just kind of got to figure it out as you go. So you're playing through a live cartoon, and you don't know if you missed something until it's too late. And like right here, boom, I get blasted because I didn't realize I was supposed to move over. And here we have Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country, released by Paramount in 1993, and this is a movie. And I will not be showing any of the movie because I don't want to get copyright flagged. But yeah, here it is right here. This is exactly why I can't show it. License for non-commercial private exhibition. Not for you guys. Sorry. And here we have Stickybear Math, released by Philips Interactive Media in 1994, and I actually briefly remember playing this as a kid. And it wasn't that fun. I remember Math Blaster, things like that being a lot better, but pretty cool. You know, another educational game, kind of what this console was known for, edutainment. Up next, we have Tetsuo Gaiden, released by Philips POV in 1997. And I gotta say, I actually really enjoyed this game. So this one is a top-down scrolling shooter, or a shoot-'em-up, and it's actually a lot of fun. Graphically, it looks great, especially for the time period, and it plays really well. And honestly, I had a lot of fun with this game. Up next is the Palm Springs Open, released by Fathom Pictures in 1991, and if you have ever played a golf game, maybe you think they're fun. I don't, unless it's something like Mario Golf or Golf Story, something like that. This game is boring. It is so boring. It's not fun to play. The FMV is crap, and the game's it's just not good. Up next is another movie, The Secret of Nimh, released by MGM and UA in 1994. And again, can't show you any of the stuff except for, you know, this little intro part right here, because I'm going to get copyright flagged if I do. But, yep, another movie. Here we have Video Speedway, released by ISG Productions in 1992. And this one, it's okay. I would put this on the level of, like, you know, a 32X virtual racing kind of thing in the terms of its graphics and playability. Overall, it's still not that great, but it was okay. Here we have X-Men: Night of the Sentinels, released by Polygram Video in 1992, and you guessed it, it is another movie, so I can't play it. But here it is in my collection by Polygram Video. Yeah. And here we have Zelda's Adventure, released by Viridis Corporation in 1994. It is equally not as good, just like the other two Zelda games on this console. And this is probably the worst Photoshop work I have ever seen in my life in this whole intro right here. But, I mean, it's cool because it's another Zelda game, not on a Nintendo console. It's not good, it's not great, but it's pretty cool that it's there. And last up is Zelda: The Wand of Gamelon, released by Animation Magic in 1993. And this one, I think, is the most fun out of the three. It's still not great. It's very frustrating, and the animation is garbage. It looks like it was done in MS Paint. But, again, cool that there's a Zelda game not on a Nintendo console. So there you have it, everyone. That is every game that I currently have in my Philips CDI collection. There are mainly not great ones. There are some kind of eclectic style ones, like the Zelda trilogy that's on there. It's not the greatest, but it's still kind of cool to see Zelda on a non-Nintendo console. But then in this series, there's also been a couple of kind of fun games like Tetsuo Gaiden, as well as Hotel Mario is actually pretty fun. Now, if you guys liked today's video, please let me know down in the comments below. And while you're down there, please be sure to also hit those like and subscribe buttons, as well as that little notification bell so you get an alert every time I got a new video coming out. Now, as always, I'm GameDad. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you later.